Hey everyone, so if you're not aware, we're trying to start a glamping business in northern Arizona, and today we're talking about why we want to quit. So as promised, we really want to be genuine on this channel and try to discuss the good, the bad, and everything in between. So we've received some initial comments on our yurt plans that we submitted, and although we're still awaiting final comments that we can review, it's pretty clear that we're going to have to make some revisions to our plan set. Now, this is to be expected somewhat. You're expected to make some changes as you progress the design to get it to the final stages, but the comments that we're getting initially are just kind of frustrating. It's pretty clear that the municipality isn't even reviewing the correct sections of the code, as there's appendices that apply to tiny houses and they're reviewing the standard section. We're trying to reference them to the correct direction when we're talking to them on the phone, and that's just a little bit frustrating that we're having to explain them what we're being permitted under, even though when we're applying for all these permits, that's what we're checking. Our solution to this problem is fairly simple. Once we get all of our comments, we're just gonna have to sit down with our engineer who put together the design package and review them and figure out what the best path forward is. Hopefully there's just simple calculations that we have to show or additional details that we have to show that are fairly minor, but we'll see. The second issue that we ran into is as we were submitting our yurt plans, we attached a site plan as is required for our project, and planning and zoning had to review this site plan. All of a sudden that flagged in their mind that we've made what they call substantial changes to our project. We don't feel we have. We essentially got a topographic survey and that dictated that we needed to move a road a little bit. We needed to move our septic field that wasn't even designed when we went to the Planning and Zoning Commission initially. So we feel that we've made some design changes that are just that. Changes to the design as you're progressing and finalizing before you submit for permit. They're not seeing it that way. And what they're ultimately telling us we have to do is we need to submit to planning and zoning again, go through the conditional use permit process again to get a modification to our current permit, which is essentially the entire process again. And this is extremely frustrating to us. In our mind, and even the mind of our engineer who's putting together the plans for us, the conditional use permit is for exactly that. It's to allow a use on a parcel that it's not typically allowed for. And since we don't think we've substantially changed the impact to the neighboring properties or the use itself, we thought we were okay making these changes. With some back and forth with the senior planner for our county, it's pretty clear that any changes that we made to the road is what actually flagged it for them, and that's what they're classifying as substantial. So the reason that we changed it in the first place is that the slope of the road where we were showing it previously would get up to an 18% grade, and we just felt that that was too much. So we actually had to move it to the other side to make it a better design. And same thing with the septic system. When we designed it initially, it actually wasn't sloped appropriately. So we changed that to create a better design. So we've just been changing these things to create a better design, and it's a little bit frustrating that it's now being flagged as substantial deviations. And now we have to go and get a modification for something that we don't think actually changes the impact of our project. So we have two potential solutions to this problem. We can first get a lawyer and try to argue what substantial actually means and if we are making substantial changes, and we might have a case here, but it might take longer and it might even cost more money. Our second option is just to go through the CUP modification, go through this process again. It'll cost us $1,000 to $1,200 and take a couple months to actually go through this formal process. And since we're not actually starting construction for a little while on that portion of the project, this is the way that we're planning on going through it. Now, we've been assured by the county that none of this is going to impact the actual conditions on our current permit, but we're still a little weary of it. Overall, we've learned a ton about land development, and we truly believe we're getting a first-class education the hard way. And I'm trying to be genuinely honest with everyone that we have wanted to quit at times, and this is certainly one of them, because this is really frustrating. And I think it's normal to want to quit when things like this happen. So we gave ourselves a day or two to just sit around and complain about it, and we reviewed our exit strategies that we've developed as we've been going along, and truthfully, we still think we could sell this project for more than we've put into it, so we could end up with a net positive even just selling it off to somebody else who wants to finish off the development. This really isn't a bad option. Unfortunately, we're really stubborn, hard-headed, and actually love to problem solve. We're going to try to keep figuring this one out, and hopefully in the end, everything will be well worth it, and we think that'll be the case. So let us know your thoughts. Would you quit with what we're working with, or would you try to power through it like we're going to do? Are we being dumb by doing so? Let us know.